My name is Olori. All right, so to talk about positioning for branding, I would say it takes a lot to see where you are, to also know what's coming next. The industry is, I would say it's quite big and it's also small. Small in the sense that you literally know everybody, or you know someone that knows someone in the industry. But when it comes to major things that are happening, it's quite big because you can't place your hands on everything. I would say the relationship that I have with MultiChoice Africa would be, if not 10, 11 years, right? And of course, not just through MultiChoice, because MultiChoice is DSTV, Showmax, GoTV, right? And for Big Brother, this is our 10th year working with them for Big Brother. Yes. So it takes a lot to even work with a multinational brand such as MultiChoice, and that's just one out of so many, right? Positioning is very important, and how you also build a brand is also key. Um, right now, media, everybody wants to do the media business, but some people are not doing it the right way. I'm not saying you're not doing it best, and I'm not saying that I've done it perfect, right? We are still all in the process, trying to make sure that we do things the right way, according to maybe the media ethics, or also ensuring that whatever we are putting on our platforms also fits into the messaging or the branding that we are putting out there for ourselves. And in the case of knowing what's going on, for instance, you gave reference to the Udabasi event.
Yeah.
I remembered 2 years ago, so Hilda's first attempt was 2 years ago, right? And Blanche PR, which is Nene Beji, they reached out to us. Our company reached out to, I think they did the same to everybody, right? Oh, Hilda is doing this. Because Hilda at that time was just a chef, and if you watch our videos, she was with Cupid, Red Chronicles. So definitely, if you see those videos online, you know definitely that we were working together. But at that time, she wanted to make an attempt. Nobody knew where this was going to. But we were on board from the get-go. When we had our first virtual meeting for the press conference, was a virtual meeting. We were present. We were there. We had media guide. Everything was just done. Everything was just normal, right? And when our event started, shout out to Esther, who was with us at that time. Okay, Esther, this is going on. We are going to America Gardens for this event, and we were there from day one, right? And it's so amazing to see that when a lot of people talk about Hilda, there's a Olori Supergirl story behind it, one way or the other. One of my mentors asked and said, "How did you know she was going to make? I mean, how did you know she was going to, win this um, attempt?" And I said to him that, "Sir, it's not like we knew this was going to happen. We just keyed into the vision of what came to us at that time." So there's something called energy also too, right? There's also energy in the business. It's beyond, oh, I want you to be on this, I want you to support me. Sometimes energy also matters, right? And also seeing that, okay, with this small thing, how can it be bigger? What can we do? Even while we're on the job, we change strategies, we change things. Okay, what are we focusing on? What angle? Like, so for instance, if I'm at this event, I will need to scan the event. Scanning means going around, seeing what is going on, and then know the angles of where we are going to focus on. So I would say that also worked for the Hilda Bassi attempt 2 years ago. And to God be the glory, she won. And everything happened. And again, this year again, she did the same attempt, which had wider range again for media, and everybody came there to support. So I would say positioning, visioning, being a visionary is a key thing. Being a leader who can actually solve problems even while things are happening is also important. And these are some of the skills that one needs to imbibe in their daily lives. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Give her a round of applause, please. So we talked about personal journey with.
I'm very obviously not the average. I'm not a video content creator. I'm a writer. I'm a journalist who's trying to build a business. So I don't have the millions of followers that Sisi Yemmie does. By the way, one of the first, my coconut rice dish, you were the one who taught me how to make it. I still use your recipe till today. I used it 3 or 4 weeks ago. just saying that. But for me, I'm very big on data, intelligence. It's less about entertainment for me and more about building knowledge ecosystems. And it's not like what we do is esoteric. It's not esoteric by any stretch of imagination, but it's really niche. And our advantage as an organization at Communicate is to take a bird's eye view and look at the industry from high up. What's happening around? For instance, our platform is the kind of platform that would write about what Tosin is doing, what Sisi is doing, and we've talked a few times about what she's building on YouTube. We very recently, for instance, released the first ever Nigerian Creator Economy Report in collaboration with the NCAC and the Ministry of Creative Economy. So for us, that is what is most important. So when I talk about creativity, or when we talk about turning creativity into a business, the challenge for me is different. It's not necessarily how do we make money from content. It's how do we build a sustainable media ecosystem that includes creators as well. Because creators have become such a massive part of the media or the knowledge ecosystem globally. The biggest example that you can look at is the most recent US election. I think about 25% of media engagement by the candidates, you can fact check this, maybe a little higher than that, but at least 25% was with what you would consider independent media or the creator ecosystem. So it's how do we get all of these people in a system or an ecosystem that helps them to make money consistently. Those are the questions that we try to answer. And in trying to answer those questions, then we can build a viable business for ourselves. And what does that look like? It's in publishing. So we have a newsletter that goes out to 47,000 people every week. But it's not just that. It's in consulting, for instance. And consulting makes up about 58% of our revenue mix. So we talk about all of these things. Then how do we translate this insight into actionable things for other businesses? So for us, those are the questions that we seek to answer with the work that we do. So like I said, I'm not a traditional creator. I'm a journalist trying to build a viable media business out of Africa.
Thank you so much. Knowledge did you have to learn and unlearn on your journey to entrepreneurship? But being an entrepreneur is not easy. You're responsible for everything, the profit, the loss, building that business model. So what did you have to learn and unlearn on that journey?
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Uchechi. I'm a creative entrepreneur. I run my creative marketing agency, Contently Curated. And I'm sure someone in the audience right now is probably done with school and you're wondering, so what next? Nobody wants to give me a job. And I'm here to tell you that was me some 10 years ago. And freelancing has brought me this far to running my business. We've served multiple African MSME brands. And we've tried to train over 2,500 young creatives in this line of work because I believe creative business is real business. And like you asked about the skills I have to adapt to know how to move in this business. One of the things I'll say is stay learning. I feel like people are waiting for permission. You're waiting for someone to give you a permission to start. You're waiting for someone to give you a permission to say, okay, do that. And if you look closely at our my amazing panelists here, if they actually tell you how they started, it was the most random action they took, and they kept showing up. And one thing I've always told myself is whatever I see myself do, whatever I put my hand to do, I do it in the highest form. In fact, I always tell people this, when I wake up to start my business or to steward my business, I say, you know what, this is a Fortune 500 business. How am I going to show up if it was actually a Fortune 500 business? And when you start having that mindset that, you know what, I want this person to treat me right. The way you show up online will matter. The way you speak to people, the events you go to. Some of you have the privilege to be in events like this, cohort program, free, paid, and you take it for granted. I'm like, okay, so if you're taking this one for granted, when the real day comes, something people always say, give me the wealth of nations. I'm like, if the wealth of nations comes, do you have the capacity to steward it and to keep it? Because it's one thing for money to come, it's another thing for you to know how to keep it. So to answer the question directly about the skills you need to have as a creative, because the panel says from creator to creative entrepreneur, and see, it's good to start as a creator. That is the beautiful starting point. But as you're being creative, you need to think strategically like a business owner. Who are the people that I need to go on this journey with me? Where are the places? Where are the rooms do I need to enter? I'm going to make my pitch straightforward. One of the people who always want to partner with is Olori, Supergirl. Hi, ma'am. Because, they have access to a couple of clients or clientele or audience we want to reach. And what is the right thing to do? Connect. And people always feel like, oh, someone has to give you a job because you're asking for a job. See, the only thing you need to prove to people is diligent and deliver. Let people know that you're diligent on the job and you deliver. Forget your name, anything. People give you money if you can give them value. People give you money if you can save their time. One of our jobs, one of our high-paying revenue is simply social media management. We cash out from it. Why? Nobody wants to do that job. But guess what? We have the time. We will take that out from you, but you're going to pay because time is money. But sometimes money is not time. But yeah, time is money. Because if you have time on your hand, you can make more money. But some people have the money, but they don't have the time. So yes, be in rooms, make that commitment, like show up and say, you know what, this person told me come and create content for me. It may not be a big event as this. It may just be a small one. In your church, for instance, how you show up for that particular event is going to determine how you're going to show up for the next one. So what our advice is, diligence, right? Prove your diligence and deliver. Don't say, I will give you 10 days, and you don't do that. That is when people start to pull back, because people want people that give them value, give them comfort, and don't stress them. So if you're able to do that as a creative, trust me, people are going to find you off and on season. And to be honest, you don't need all the clients in the world. You need 1, 2, 3 people paying you the month you have, and you get it. Thank you.
That's a whole masterclass.
The question you should ask yourself is, what do you see a lot of people doing, right? What don't you see enough people doing? Find out why not enough people are doing that thing, and then find out how you can do it better than all the people, or better than most of the people who are currently doing it. What you will find is that there is less competition in that less crowded area, and because there is less competition, you can price higher. Do you understand? So for instance, someone comes to us and says, there are 2 things that we can either do with you. We can either have a content partnership with you, or we can commission a research project. For a content partnership, if I tell them I want to bill them $10,000, what do you think they are going to say? What do you think they are going to say? We'll look for someone else, right? Yeah. But if I tell you that I'm going to bill you $10,000 for a research project, who are you going to go to? You go to PwC. PwC probably collect 50K or 100K from you, right? So in focusing on something that is less crowded, you are creating an advantage for yourself. Do you understand the framework I've given you? So look at the less crowded area, look at the people who are doing it well. You have to do that, and then try to match up with them by quality and standards. And maybe if you can price a little in a competitive way that means that they don't have to go to the guys who will charge them 100K, they can just come to you, who you do something almost as good or maybe even better for half the price. You're making a name for yourself in that area. So that's a strategy that you can use going forward. You are welcome, by the way.
All right. So what I would say is, do not look at comparison. When people compare you with your competitor or the next person because you're in the same industry, it actually reduces your self-esteem. It has happened a lot of times, but you know that you have something inside which is value, right? Uchechi mentioned something. She said, get the rate card, right? So that you can have an idea of what the market is saying. The market is the industry that you are in. If you are charging lower, but you are doing better than someone that is charging higher, you're also losing money. So one thing that we look in this industry is, do not leave money on the table. However you can, whatever you can monetize. See, people monetize link in bio. People monetize their avatar. People monetize pinned messages. People monetize also, like you are buying, it's just like having a land and you are partitioning it and you are selling. So look at your brand like that. What can you monetize, right? And also ensure that you talk to your colleagues in the industry. Why am I saying this? In Yoruba, they will say, info don't go your phone, right? Like information is what carries you, right? Aya, right? So you need to know what's going on in your industry. Have people that you can talk to. Also ask questions. Don't feel like you know everything inside of you, or like you know what's going on around you. So there might be a grant happening, there might be a fund happening, funding something somewhere, it might be a trip, right? And I'm talking about trips, if you don't have your passport, please get your passport, right? You don't know where your work will take you to. So don't limit yourself with your environment. Ensure that you see beyond where you are. Thank you.
So I will talk from I would say, a creator's perspective, real life experience. Like I said, when I started creating content, it was a hobby that turned into a career. So I remember earlier when Isabella was asking Tobike that she should give anointing to those people that don't know how to charge. I was one of those people. Even till now, I am still very shy to talk about money, but I have people that do that work now for me. So I don't have to interface when it comes to the money, because left to me, I will just smile with you and go and do the job for free. So I'm talking like from everybody's, if you're a creator, from that perspective, right? But something that helped me was looking at the industry and of course, seeing what, let's say, your counterparts are kind of charging, what's in the market. Okay, get everybody's rate cards. You will see that there are some people that, sometimes it's not even by followership, it's by engagement. Somebody can have 10,000 followers and is charging 1 million, and you have maybe 2 million followers and you're charging 10,000. So you just need to get a couple of rate cards and see what is going on. Put yourself up there, don't put yourself at the bottom. It's always good to ask for big money. That way when you want to slash, you still come down and you still reach somewhere. But if you start from the bottom, by the time you slash, nothing will remain. So, like, those are tips that have helped me. And also build your, I don't want to call it, it's not esteem, but it's like a business sense. Stop thinking about money as, stop looking at money somehow, because I used to look at money somehow like, oh, I don't want to charge this, I don't want to charge that. Just think of it as business. Think of things as a business person, which can be difficult to do if you are a creative person. And if you are finding it difficult, divide the work, do your creative job, and give the money job to somebody else to do if you are really, really struggling with it. Because sometimes I'll send an email, and maybe that was like before I got somewhere, right? I'll send an email, by the time they slash it, I'll go to my bed, I'll cry. Be like, oh, do you mean I am not worth this amount? And I used to take it personally. So I knew that, okay, this is not my strong point. Play to your advantage. So I started playing to my own advantage. And that's what has been working for me.
Yes, thank you so much. That takes me to the next part of this whole thing, because creatives are not the best business people. I'm a creative. Once I go into that zone and I'm in that zone, I don't know how to put money to my creativity. So thank you for explaining that. In saying that, how do you balance creativity and business? So I'm going to ask a question, both of you answer, try to keep it in 1 minute, go out, actually press the time. How do you balance creative freedom with the demands of running a business, which involves budgets, clients, deadlines, and strategy? So how do you balance that?
Okay, let me just start. I think for me, I try to keep things as simple as possible, because you can quickly use up your budget really quickly. Let's say by hiring so many people, getting big, expensive cameras. I think what has been working for me so far is just to keep things really simple. There was a time I thought that using the big cameras is what is going to get you the results. But people are using phones, and I will not even call it a downgrade. So me, I was like, okay, camera, that's it one place. Now let's use phones. And I do a lot of my production myself. to be honest, I do 99% of my production myself because I feel like I can control it. As a busy mom, it's difficult for me to keep appointments and be like, oh, on Tuesday we're going to film videos. What if my child has something in school? I'm not going to be able to meet up. So I like to control production because I feel like I can manage it. So for me, I keep production simple and that just works for me.
All right. So I would say one of the key things you need to do is to ensure that you look into, depending on, I'll give it as a campaign, for instance. So if a client comes to you saying, oh, we want to run this campaign, maybe 13 weeks, right? And now this is not a client coming to you directly. This is maybe an agency who is the middleman coming to you. So they've sent you all of that. They've told you, oh, this is what they want to do. And the brief is also already in your email. Now you've looked at it. You can actually respond to tell them, okay, give me 24 to 48 hours to respond to you, and we'll be back. And we'll get back to you. So you can just sit down, think of how you want to implement that campaign. 13 weeks is a whole lot of time. How do you want to keep engaging your followers or your audience to say, well, this is what you are trying to sell on behalf of a client or a brand, for instance? So you need to look at the creative ways on how you want to implement it. It could be from copywriting, graphics or videos or reels. It could be anything. Now put all of that cost together. Then also charge, of course, put your time, because talking about money, put your time for money inside, right? So you include all of that in your cost, and then you can actually come to a conclusion on how much you want to charge for that entire campaign. So this is just a framework, like just to give an idea of what it looks like, because by the time you give a price to the agency or the client, you might realize at the end of the day that you were paid lesser than what other people were charging higher. We had this experience in 2017 during a campaign, a very big campaign, massive campaign. It was a global campaign. We didn't know it was a global campaign. We only knew that it was happening in Nigeria, but apparently it was happening all over the world, across the world. And that lesson alone in 2017, helped us, to do better. Yeah.
Thank you so much. David and Uchechi, as creative entrepreneurs, how do you choose the right people to join your vision, and how have you learned about leadership?
Okay, so I think this industry needs more operators to back up the points that Yemmie was making. And for every creative genius that you see out there, for every creator who is big, there's usually someone behind the scenes doing the grunt work that isn't as pronounced. So if, for instance, you're a young person, you want to break into the industry, you don't have to be the person holding the camera and or you don't have to be the person who the camera is facing. You can be the person holding the camera, doing the content. You can be the one doing the editing. For every Burna Boy, for instance, there is Ronami, there is Bosse, his mom. For every Davido, there is Issa. For every what now? Every big creator you see, there is someone behind the scenes running the operations. And for us too, it's something that I've come to realize. I'm fortunate enough to be the type of person who can do the two very well. I'm a good, if you want me to write and do I can do it. I can design. I designed our company website and it's actually really good. I can do the creative part. But I also really enjoy the grunt work. I enjoy waking up every day having to think about payroll. Where is salary going to come from? Where are we going to get the next client from? I enjoy that part of it, but not every creative does. So there is an opportunity for you. If you're in the crowd, you're trying to think about how to break into the industry. I would much rather advise you to think about being an operator, because it's a unicorn skill set. It's very rare to find people who know how to operate or run operations while still understanding the intricacies of creativity as a business. That's the advice that I would give you if you want to break into this industry. Focus on being an operator. But if you still choose to be a creator, then look for people who have that unique skill set, because there are not that many.
I definitely agree with everything you said. About the operator side, we need more operators in the creative industry. But the question, if I got that question right, about finding the right people, this was one of the hardest truths I had to swallow, that one, hire for a weakness, right? So if like Sisi Yemmie said earlier, if you see that this thing is not really your strong forte, find people that can do it. Also find hungry people. I think as creatives, we get carried away with the aesthetics of it, that you want to hire people that quote unquote fit your aesthetics. To be honest, it might get you somewhere, but if those people are not as hungry as you are, there's going to be a problem when your vision needs to align. A perfect example I'd heard just probably this year, he was like, see, if you're going to hire an intern, right, I'm very honest, in my agents, when we want to hire people, we notice that when it comes to internships, someone that maybe is from a well-to-do family, lives in a certain area of Lagos, is not as serious on the job as someone that we know that maybe she just moved from the east or Olori to come to Lagos. The ambition is different. Do you get? She knows that quote unquote what they call nepo baby and lapo baby, right? To be honest, as a business owner, look for those people, because those are the people that will give you the if I don't work, there's no money, and they will give you that drive. Like it's not the, I don't know how to say, like, it may not be the proudest thing to say, but see, it's true.
I will say I keep evolving based on my interests. My interests change with time. There was a time I was a single girl, and that was the kind of content I was creating then was different from when I got married, and now as a mom of 5, my interest has changed. So over time, it's just I create from my life, basically. So that is what determines what I do, and I evolved based on what my interests are. For some people, it might be different. We recently started the Little Big Bites brand, which is like a children's food brand. And that I only started and evolved into because I had so many kids that I had to feed. So if I didn't have them, I probably would not have evolved in that direction. So for me, because I'm a content creator based on my lifestyle, I evolve based on what's happening with me.
All right, thank you so much. Olori, Supergirl,
Okay.
how do you approach collaborations, partnerships, or scaling without losing your authentic voice as a creator?
How do
you approach collaborations,
Okay.
partnerships, scaling without losing your authentic voice as a creator? You've been doing it for a long time.
Collaborators, yeah. So, because I'm trying to think of an example to share, but I think one of the key things I would say is that for a lot of people that we work with or we partner with, they see what you're doing, or you see also what they're doing, and you also want to key into, like, go the way they are heading to, right? So for us, sometimes we pitch to brands, agencies. We also pitch to clients, right? And also we also get the same to when people come to us to pitch. Oh, I can do this, I can do that. For us, collaboration is very key. Collaboration is what has also brought this brand to where it is today. Without the partners or the people that we've collaborated with in the industry, I don't think we would also say we are here today, because sometimes, when you're having meetings with people, right, they tell you, okay, I don't think this is for us at this time, right? And that can actually drain you because you are trying to head somewhere. And looking at how the industry is being built today, collaborations, like for instance, Sisi, Yemmie and I, we've been friends for years, from our single days, right? Even when she got married. And one thing again, when Sisi got married, I'm diverting with you, but when Sisi got married in 2014, if I'm right, it was a free wedding. It was a free wedding. Hold on, it was a free wedding that year, 2014. A free wedding, yes. So imagine, even for us being together here today, it's not because we knew we were going to be here today, right? There's a lot has happened between this sisterhood of friendship.
We sure hope you enjoyed this video. For more entertaining video content such as behind the scenes of music videos and movies, music concerts, premieres, interviews, and exclusive gists, subscribe now to our YouTube channel Goldmine TV and be unleashed into a world of super excitement.